Hey everybody, T-Man again, bringing you guys another video, and welcome to the first ever show of this kind of mine called Let's Talk Wrestling. That's right, this will be a weekly show. I'm going to be now doing, most of my videos are about 15 to 20 minutes, 30 minutes, depending, 30 minutes being the absolute most. This is just going to be like a podcast for me, a show that I'm going to be doing weekly for you guys called Let's Talk Wrestling, where I'm just going to shoot the shit with you guys, just pretty much setting the camera on and talking about whatever comes to my mind about the great sport of entertainment form of professional wrestling and everything around that umbrella. So, kick back, relax, enjoy the video that I'm going to be shooting for each and every week. I am still, guys, going to be still shooting out Monday Night Raw reviews for you, Lucha Underground reviews, my topic videos, all that's going to continue. The only thing is now you're probably going to get between a 45-minute to 1 hour show that I'm going to be doing for you each week. This is episode number 1 of Let's Talk Wrestling. Those of you who follow me on Twitter, thank you very much. I'm at expert of professional wrestling. Actually, what is my Twitter handle? Let me see here. I'm not in a rush. Let's just enjoy this video. Let's see. How horrible am I, man? I don't even know my own Twitter handle. My wife is the one that sets all this shit up for me. I mean, I'm very bad. Okay, at Pro Wrestling Expert, I'm at on Twitter. At Pro Wrestling EXP is what I'm at Pro Wrestling Exp. The Pro Wrestling Expert is what I am on Twitter. So if you guys are not watching this through my Twitter feed, because I post all my videos on my Twitter, so you could follow me there. I do about maybe between 4 to 5 tweets a day, different things, sometimes more, of course, on Raw, Lucha days, and pay-per-views. I tweet out a lot more than that. Yeah, this is something I've been wanting to do for a while. So guys, if you like my videos, please tell me how I can make my videos better for you. Please leave your comments down below of what you think of my videos. Please tell a friend. I've only been doing this channel now since November, yeah, January, February, so I'm barely going to my this is 3 months going on 4 months now that I've been doing this channel, and it's a work in progress. So if you guys like what I have to say about wrestling and my views and stuff, please tell a friend, and so on and so on. And if you guys are new, this happens to be the first video you're watching of me, welcome. Please check out my videos below. Most of my videos that I do, like I said, are anywhere between 10 to 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and I just shoot right to the point of what I'm talking about. I don't mess around like I'm doing now with a slow start, introductory, and all that like I'm doing now. But this is just a kickback video I'm doing that's going to be a 1 hour show each and every week, and we're going to be talking about everything, guys. We're going to be talking WWE. I have a few things I want to say. Things that I'm really mad about. I mean, because in my opinion, WWE has become unwatchable. Monday Night Raw, and even on the road to WrestleMania. So, we're going to get into that. We're also going to talk just anything that really comes in my head. And if you guys have questions in later episodes, I will be doing it on this forum. I will be answering questions on this forum. Since it's my first one, we have no questions for today because I didn't post anything saying I was going to do this video. So, each week I'm going to be doing this. So if you guys have questions, go ahead and ask them throughout the week, and I'll write them all down. And it comes down to this video, Let's Talk Wrestling, episode number 2. Hopefully we'll have a few questions, and I would address that on the show. We'll be talking more TNA, we'll talk Lucha Underground, we'll talk New Japan, we'll talk NXT, we'll talk it all right here on this forum here. So what else is going on here? What is on my mind? Yeah, just a couple days ago, me and my wife, or actually me, I bought the tickets, but my wife wanted to go. Went to bought tickets now for a house show here on March 22nd. Those of you know that I live in the LA area. I've California, here at the Ontario Citizens Bank Arena. Me and my wife were going to another house show. You know, we just went to a house show last month. Was it January? No, I think it was January. Right now we're still in February, right? Yeah. Okay. In January, we went to a house show in Las Vegas, which was a pretty cool show. As you see, we just got ones right here. Some tickets. In the Ontario Citizens Bank Arena, and you know, I'll tell you, I'm really happy with these seats I got here. They're really cool. They're in the first row where the stadium seating first begins, so right coming off the floor. I could have got third row seats, fourth row seats on the floor, and it's the same price. But if I can't be in the first row, I don't want to sit in the third or fourth row, because me and my wife, we sat on the sixth row there at the Citizens Bank Arena for a SmackDown, and that wasn't that bad because you had the TV monitors. But you know, when you're on the floor, you don't have the stadium seating and stuff, you know, and it's just not the same. You know, you got people's heads in your way and stuff. And the SmackDown wasn't that bad. You had a screen up on this. On a house show, it really sucks, because when we went to the Mandalay Bay, that was actually a house show that we went to in January. That one was horrible, man, because I think we were sitting where the wrestlers come out, like through the aisles. We were sitting on the aisle, and I think we were in the 10th row on the floor, and you couldn't see nothing because they don't have the monitors up. So if you guys ever buy tickets for a house show, if you're not in the front row, or maybe even second row, you're best to be in the middle, in the bleachers for a house show. TV tapings doesn't really matter as much, because you know, you have the monitors and stuff and pay-per-views, and you could see the monitors for there. But house shows, I recommend, if you can't get the first two rows, you would sit up in the bleachers. And I'm happy because we have a great seats. No one will be in our way. We're coming right off the floor, right when the stadium seating's beginning, and we'll have a perfect view. And you know, and that's the thing between house shows and TV taping. If you're an in-ring fan of in-ring work, house shows are a dream for you. I mean, you know, there's some people that prefer house shows more than like a Raw or SmackDown, because if you get a bad episode, you know, you're pretty much fucked, and you know, you get your 20-30 minute promo segments or whatever. But if you just like in-ring work, I mean, house shows are really the way to go, because I mean, sometimes you get these wrestlers performing the matches that you're going to see at like the pay-per-views or Monday Night Raws. They rehearse them in the house shows, and you know, you hear a lot of wrestlers say that sometimes that they have some of their favorite matches in house shows. I mean, you just never know when you and the guy that you're wrestling against that night, if the stars align correctly. I mean, who knows when you're going to have that best match. I mean, I remember Jericho said it before, sometimes he has his best match at house shows. So, you know, I like that too. You know, I've been to a lot of Raws and SmackDowns. I actually did a video right after I came back from that, giving my review of the house show where I went to. I'm probably going to do the same thing with this one here. I'll be shooting a review on this one. But I also did a video talking about all the events that I've gone to. So if you haven't already done so, go ahead and after you watch this or whatever, check out some of my later videos. You know, I do topics and stuff all over, so you could go ahead and check that out. But moving on from there, let's talk a little WWE, shall we? And you know, there's actually a lot I have to say today. You know, speaking about WWE, but after WWE, another thing I want to talk about too is a little bit of some shit I was watching on the network. But let's get to the WWE. You know, guys, as you can see, I did not do a Monday Night Raw review yesterday, and you know what? I'm not going to, guys. I'm not going to do a Monday Night Raw review tonight, because you know what? I am so disappointed. I'm going to give my summary of what I think of Raw right now. I did a Fastlane review video. You guys can check that out. And if you guys saw that, I wasn't impressed with Fastlane, guys. I wasn't impressed with it at all. I mean, was it the worst thing ever? No. Was it great? No. It was boring, really. I mean, Fastlane to me was boring. It didn't even feel like a pay-per-view. It felt like a Raw minus a lot of promo segments and commercial free. I mean, that's pretty much what it was. And, I mean, I was wrong. If you guys saw my predictions video that I did leading up to Fastlane, I was wrong with some outcomes, like the Daniel Bryan Roman Reigns. I was fucking gardeners out there. Anyways, I was dead wrong about that one. I thought we weren't going to see a finish in the Roman Reigns Daniel Bryan, because the rumor for a long time that I've been reading on every single dirt sheet was that it was going to be a triple threat match at WrestleMania. Now, I'm actually happy that it's going to be the one-on-one match between Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, because I'm not a fan of the triple threat match. If you guys been watching my videos, you know I'm not a fan of the triple threat at WrestleMania. Last year, it needed to happen because Batista and Randy Orton made no sense storyline-wise, the main event for WrestleMania. I mean, especially now, I mean, if you look at Batista and Randy Orton, I mean, your WrestleMania main event is supposed to be what's shaping up for the year. How does Randy Orton Batista shape up for the year was beyond me. So last year, I understood that. And anyways, I mean, this year, going into the Royal Rumble, and I've talked about this Royal Rumble so many times in so many videos. The whole Daniel Bryan thing, didn't have a problem with him getting eliminated in the Royal Rumble. I've said it before, it was how he was eliminated. It was the whole booking of that match. I did not have a problem with Roman Reigns winning that match. But the way they booked that match, they set Roman Reigns up to fail, guys. They completely set him up to fail in that match. And I believe that they would have booked the match correctly, maybe putting Daniel Bryan out within the first 3 entrants, if not number 1 or number 2, maybe number 3, and then having them, and then the person having them get eliminated, they should have been the guy that they really want him to rival with, somebody that really made sense. Anyways, I mean, leading into that, so yeah, the big rumor on the Fastlane I was wrong about was, and everybody was wrong about, and you know what pisses me off about I'm not going to name any websites, all you fucking websites out there that, you know, bring us through rumors. You know, I appreciate all the rumors and stuff that you bring, but here's what I hate, you know, leading into this, they keep saying it was going to be triple threat, triple threat, triple threat. Then the next night, on Raw, when it was clearly that Daniel Bryan was not going to go to WrestleMania, leading into that Monday, all of a sudden those same websites that's been saying triple threat, now they're all saying, oh yeah, you know, the Dolph Ziggler and the Sheamus, you know, that's the direction they're going to go to. It's going to be one of those two. And that was before Raw. They were saying it was going to be Ziggler or it was going to be Sheamus. Okay, so you watch Monday Night Raw, right, guys? And you saw that that Dolph Ziggler looks like he's going to be in the Intercontinental title match. It looks like it's going to be a fatal 4-way for the IC belt. Dolph Ziggler, Dean Ambrose, R-Truth, and Bad News Bear for the Intercontinental title. Okay. Then, after Raw went out the air, they're like, the same websites, oh, Sheamus, Daniel Bryan. Sheamus, Daniel Bryan is going to be the match at WrestleMania. Back to the original thing. So these websites keep changing it after we're seeing the results. Well, no shit. Now we're seeing clearly that Dolph Ziggler is probably going to be tied into that. You're not giving us no breaking news. And the way they bring it to you on those websites is like, you know, that was their plan all along. Like, they know, and they're not admitting, oh, we fucked up, guys. Oh, these websites, I tell you, you know, they change as the show go along. So, I mean, you really can't, listen to a lot of what those websites say. I mean, it's all just hearsay, but I just thought that was fucking funny. So anyways, I was wrong about that outcome or whatever, and I think it's okay. I mean, Roman Reigns needs to stay the course. I mean, that's the story they're telling at Royal Rumble, and they should continue that story. I do think it's a mistake, even indulging the fans, to give Daniel Bryan fans hope. They shouldn't have done that, because if you watch that Fastlane, I want you guys to go back at the end of that match when Roman Reigns won. Notice one thing, guys. Notice that nobody cared. Notice when the finish, when Roman Reigns caught, and I feel so bad for Roman Reigns. This guy really is the future of the company. He really is a star, and I know he's not that great right now, you know, on the mic and all that. He's going to get better, guys. He's real young. You know, bear with him. But, you know, I feel so bad the way they've been booking him. Like, and even in this match, like, playing with the strings of Daniel Bryan fans who just are so loyal, and, you know, there's some more Daniel Bryan fans right now that there are Roman Reigns. I feel so bad. Again, Roman Reigns wins, and this, in my opinion, the way the fan reaction was at the end of that match with Roman Reigns wrong, in my opinion, guys, was worse than the Royal Rumble. And here's why. Because you heard crickets when Roman Reigns won. You'll see a couple fans, sure, here and there. I mean, go ahead and watch at the end. Go ahead and go back on your WWE network, watch the Fastlane, watch just the main event, and just watch the ending where Roman Reigns wins and hits the 1, 2, 3. Crickets. You hear a couple claps here and there throughout. You show the crowd, and nobody's clapping. Immediately, everybody's walking out of the arena. And to me, that's the worst reaction. No reaction. You know what that means? It means nobody cares anymore. You fucked up so many times, WWE, where your fans, who wrestling fans are the most loyal fans in the world, are now tired. They're sick of it. I mean, they're sick of bad storytelling, okay? And when you don't care anymore and you hear crickets at the end of your main event, to me that is worse than what happened at the Royal Rumble. Because at least with Roman Reigns winning and everybody was mad at the way that whole Rumble was booked, at least they cared, they voiced their opinion and how furious there was. And it's not like they just made that one, WWE just made that one mistake and the whole show is gravy. The whole show is garbage right now. Their current product in the WWE is absolutely trash and is completely unwatchable at times. You know, and so when you take all that into account, with now that they're not getting what they want, that's fine. I mean, sometimes as fans, we don't get what we want, that's fine. But when the storytelling's bad and the whole show is bad and the way everything is booked is just bad, and you keep doing this week after week and then slapping fans in the face like they did at Fastlane, in my opinion, with you know, I don't blame all those websites for saying triple threat match, because why would you even entertain the idea? I understand Vince McMahon's logic here. Vince McMahon's logic was all like, okay, well, we're gonna give you Daniel Bryan fans a chance, you know, since he wasn't really, you know, addressed like he should have been with getting taken out of WrestleMania. We're going to give him this spotlight main event match with Roman at Fastlane to fix your needs, even though Roman's still going to win. Fans just don't care. You know, I mean, the fans don't care. And if you saw the night after the Royal Rumble, that I've talked about it before in my previous videos with Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, it was a great promo, guys, that the two had together in the main studios back in Connecticut. They had a great... Oh, man, I had to get some water here. But, I mean, they had a great promo, and I think if they would have just continued with that, I maybe just had Roman face... I don't think he ever faced like a Seth Rollins at a main pay-per-view. You know, Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins had their share of pay-per-view matches after Seth Rollins turned on the Shield, but Roman Reigns never got that. You know, Roman. I mean, I think Roman may have faced Seth Rollins maybe in a Raw or so. I really don't know. They might have, but not in a big pay-per-view. If Daniel Bryan was never planned for anywhere near WrestleMania, you should have never entertained the idea. You should have never entertained the idea, and what you should have did, and how I would have booked it, because Seth Rollins was booked half-ass. He was booked half-ass. I didn't think the Randy Orton comeback was any good. I thought that was garbage, the way they did that in the first match, and Randy Orton came out in his ring gear all ready to go, and I remember I was reading reports saying that Seth Rollins was going to coming out looking strong out of that pay-per-view. He didn't. I mean, if Daniel Bryan was never the plan, I would have had Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns at Fastlane, and with Seth Rollins, you know, saying, well, if I win, I become the #1 contender. Because, you know, I mean, and if you remember, coming out for Royal Rumble, Seth Rollins stole the show with the John Cena and Brock Lesnar triple threat match. I mean, if it was just a one-on-one between Brock and Cena, that match would have never been that good. Seth Rollins made that match what it was. So if you would have had Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, that would have been a natural fit. Seth Rollins, a great promo guy. You could have led into a really good program there, and then you could have had the big comeback, the big return of Randy Orton, and maybe booked it in a better way than him coming out with a street gear, costing him the match, RKO out of nowhere, you know, just, you know, having, don't even have the music, like, who is this running out? Boom, RKO in the ring, Roman Reigns, boom, spear, or just covers him, or whatever, 1, 2, 3, Randy Orton sliding out of the ring, there you go, no Duke Hugh match, and I think that would have been a little bit better, and you could have had something else for Daniel Bryan. Maybe Daniel Bryan, maybe having, how about this for Fastlane? Okay, Bray Wyatt was the one who eliminated Daniel Bryan. If Daniel Bryan, again, I'm saying it over and over, if Daniel Bryan was never going to be in the triple threat match, which I'm fine, he doesn't need to be in WrestleMania main event. I'm not complaining about that. I'm thinking of all other alternatives. They could have had Bray Wyatt, you know, and Daniel Bryan go at it, because Bray Wyatt was the one that eliminated it for the Royal Rumble. You could say he crushed the dreams or whatever. You could have still had Bray Wyatt cut all those promos like he's been. I wouldn't change a thing with that. All those promos he's been cutting on the Undertaker has been beautiful. Bray Wyatt, and not to mention, that was probably one of the most, that and the Sting were the two most interesting things on that Fastlane pay-per-view. Anyways, going on, I would have had Bray Wyatt continue to cut all the promos against Undertaker, but having the match also, because remember, you got a 3-hour show on Raw and a 2-hour show on SmackDown. You have a lot of room for the Undertaker promos, plus having him wrestle at your pay-per-view. So I would have had him wrestle and Daniel Bryan, and then I would have had the lights go out, pretending like the Undertaker with the music, and the little druids coming out, pushing the coffin, and then having it be empty, and Bray Wyatt laughing, and maybe even going over on Daniel Bryan, or maybe nothing happening. I don't know. I would have booked something along those angles, and I just came up with that in my head. I didn't even think about that before. This literally just came in my mind as I'm shooting this video. So I don't know. A lot of ways they could do about. And speaking of Daniel Bryan, WWE. Oh my gosh. They will not let go of this damn Daniel Bryan Sheamus match they want to do at Mania. Now, that's probably what's going to happen again. If you guys didn't know, they wanted to book this on last year's WrestleMania. Every WrestleMania, they want to book Daniel Bryan and Sheamus. For those of you who don't know, this is the second time that they are, this is going to be the third time they're wrestling at a WrestleMania match. And yes, Daniel Bryan has not won against Sheamus. It doesn't matter, you know, he's going to win this time. The point is, what WWE is trying to shove down our throats. What they're trying to shove down our throats is just so generic, not even entertaining, and, you know, it's becoming garbage. And here's why. Here's why. If you think about it, this is a manufactured WrestleMania. This is not organic. This is manufactured. This is what Vince McMahon and Triple H wants. Prime example, main event with Roman Reigns. Even though I'm okay with that, really, I mean, Roman's not ready. I think he would be 100%. Like I said, I think he was ready until that hernia thing happened and he had the surgery. He lost so much momentum. If that never happened, I think he would have been ready. them doing that, proving they just want to force the future on us right away. And like I said, I love Roman Reigns. I'm not bashing Roman Reigns, but I would have held out till next year. You know, he's so young, or even SummerSlam or whatever. He doesn't have to win the title at WrestleMania. They could have booked that Daniel Bryan, since that's who everybody wants. They could have booked him in that role. They could have booked him in that role, and like I said, I even said how they can do it. I said in many videos, book Daniel Bryan as the ultimate underdog, which they already do anyways, and having Brock Lesnar in the whole match beating the living dog shit out of Daniel Bryan for so long, maybe even 30 minutes without Daniel Bryan doing shit, and then him keep kicking out all the heart and the determination, and then at the end of that match, having Brock Lesnar starting the tire and gas out because he did so many F5s. He threw everything but the kitchen sink at Daniel Bryan, and he is still there. And then Daniel Bryan maybe only having a couple minutes of offense. And finally, after Brock Lesnar's gassing out and Daniel Bryan's doing the kicks and making the comebacks and starting to show that heart, Brock is gassing out, finally just fades out, got the kicks, dude, the SCOC, the tap out, or whatever you're going to do. 1, 2, 3. Oh, the ultimate underdog will happen. But no, Vince and Triple H, they don't have the patience. They want to rush the future on us. They want to shove the WrestleMania they want and accept what is logical at us. Like that. Another example is Triple H. Triple H does not need to be in every year's WrestleMania. If it makes sense, sure. If it makes sense, sure. This year, in my opinion, didn't make sense. Because the match, who knows how many years The Undertaker has left. Give the fans the fantasy match that WWE's always talked about. Everybody's always talked about. Give us the fantasy match, because I know the plan might be to have Sting and Undertaker next year in Houston. Pictures of Undertaker already look so bad right now. He may not even be in a condition to wrestle next year. Book the match while you can. Book the match before who knows what happens in another year. What happens if Undertaker, if he comes out and he just can't carry this match. He can't do anything with this match. It's blown. I would have booked the Sting Undertaker match at this year's WrestleMania. I would have had Brock Daniel Bryan, I would have Sting Undertaker, and, well, what about Triple H? You know me, I have to book myself in every single WrestleMania because I'm banging the boss's daughter. You know, I need to be in every WrestleMania, even if it makes sense or not. I would have had him against Roman. That would have set Roman Reigns up. I would have got a lot of fans back behind him. Triple H is really good at that, and that would have also set Roman Reigns up against the Authority, because before the Royal Rumble, the Authority has always been after guys like Cena and Daniel Bryan, Dolph Ziggler, Ryback, and that whole storyline, and they were never after the main guy they were pushing. They've never put any heat on Roman Reigns. This way they would put heat on Roman Reigns, having him face the boss of the Authority, Triple H. That would have been gold. You know, all that they wanted to do this year could come in time next year. They didn't need to do it right now, because even though Bray Wyatt and Undertaker is going to be cool, made no sense. Everything about it is generic. And the same thing with Sheamus. They're just shoving things down our throat. They are dead set on this Sheamus Daniel Bryan match. It was supposed to happen last year with Sheamus returning as a heel, and because Sheamus seems like he always gets injured around this time of year, because this is kind of the time of year he came back last year. Oh my gosh, Sheamus. Oh. I like Sheamus as a heel. There's no doubt about it, I like Sheamus as a heel. But Sheamus, the only reason why he's going up against Daniel Bryan is because that's WWE who they want to push. Even though Daniel Bryan's going to go over in the match, most likely, that's who they want to push, and that's Triple H's boy. Maybe a lot of people don't know that, but Sheamus and Triple H are boys. They're workout pals. That's the only reason why this is happening, because this is who they want to push, and they want to give Sheamus a good spot at WrestleMania, and Daniel Bryan has became a main eventer, became a main slot, and that's the whole reason why they're not putting him in the title shot, because they know they could get somebody else over with Daniel Bryan. So they want to try to get Sheamus back over as a main established heel, which I'm okay with. He's better as a heel. So that is pretty much on the WWE and WrestleMania and Fastlane, and I'm sure I'll be doing more rants or raves leading on to that. Another thing that I like too, and another piece of rumor that I heard, and I agree with this. This is the only way to do this rivalry, about the Undertaker Bray Wyatt match. I heard and I read, and I think this is smart booking, is that they're not going to have Undertaker appear until WrestleMania. They're not even going to show him on Raw and SmackDown, and I hope that is true. I hope we do not see him until WrestleMania. I hope he does not appear on Raw or SmackDown or nothing to build it, because, you know what, honestly, Bray Wyatt, he has it. He's good enough on the mic where he can carry this storyline, and he could put a question mark. Is he going to return? Will The Undertaker make it? And they should be, because nobody, he has not appeared on WWE TV since his WrestleMania loss. I think this is going to be great. Like I said, I'm not a fan of The Undertaker Bray, because I think it does nothing for both men, because the streak is already over. And I'm not going to go back on this long rant about Undertaker Bray. You guys can see my previous videos. I think Bray should have been the one to end the streak, if you were going to end the streak. Okay, if you were going to. Moving on from there, you know, so I think that's good. I think if you're going to do this match the way they're doing it with Undertaker Bray, this is smart. Make the question mark about The Undertaker. What's he going to be like? What's he going to look like? Like, no one's heard from him. He hasn't done any wrestling interviews or promos or nothing since the loss to Brock Lesnar. I think the way they're going to do this is smart, so hopefully that is true. Another rumor I heard was considering around Brock Lesnar. I heard Brock Lesnar was supposed to be on Monday Night Raw this past Monday night, but wasn't, due to a disagreement with WWE about the relationship. I heard it had nothing to do with WrestleMania and how he's being used or nothing like that. He just had a falling out with WWE. Was about contract. Nobody really knows. There's all different kind of rumors, but the real thing is nobody knows. And that makes sense, because I think on Fastlane they advertised Brock for Raw, saying Brock is going to confront the winner of the Fastlane match, and it was just Paul Heyman that did it on Monday night. So I think that's what's going to happen there. That's interesting, man. That's real interesting, and that makes a lot of sense, because honestly, I thought Monday Night Raw was going to be great this past Monday night. I thought we were going to see Brock. I thought we were going to see Sting again, or maybe not even Sting, Undertaker. I thought some big shit was going to happen, because this was now the official, going to WrestleMania. Coming off the pay-per-view, and now the next pay-per-view inside is WrestleMania. This is now the main march to WrestleMania. And I thought they were going to make a stamp on that march by having a big show. Didn't see Brock, didn't see any of that. It was a real lackluster. And tell the truth, to be honest with you, I didn't even watch the main event. I went to bed with a half hour left in Raw, maybe 40 minutes, because it ends at like 10, 11 minutes after the hour. So after 11, so I didn't even watch it. I was just so mad. I was so upset after I watched those 6 hours of WWE, the 3 hours of Fastlane, and the 3 hours of Raw. I was just so sick and tired. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, why am I watching this? I was telling myself. And I'm like, I know we're diehard wrestling fans, but all in all, we turn on the TV and turn on whatever we're going to turn on to be entertained, and I'm not entertained, guys. I'm mad. And not to mention, this is when wrestling and WWE, even if you're coming off a horrible time storyline, no matter what's going on, you could always count on WrestleMania season to, be good, to be decent. And honestly, I'm not even pumped up for WrestleMania. Like, I'm gonna watch it, of course, but this is the first WrestleMania in a long time that I could possibly remember that I am not pumped up for. I'm just not excited for. I don't really care for, and all that. I'm not into it. Like, the storylines are just too force-fed. It's not organically. It's what the WWE wants. They don't want Dolph Ziggler and Daniel Bryan to steal the show, so they're gonna they don't want people to be more excited about that match than any other. They want to force feed you what they want to force feed you. They want to feed you shit, and you're going to like it. And I'm okay with that to an extent. But when it's just not entertaining, man, like, I don't know what to do, man. Like, this is not entertaining to me. Now, moving off of WWE a little bit, I'll tell you, that's one thing that I like, and it's Wednesday, and I can't wait to watch this tonight. It's going to be coming on in 2 hours for me, is the Lucha Underground. Now, the Lucha Underground is probably the best promotion going on in wrestling today, guys. The Lucha Underground. Because I'll tell you, first of all, it's 1 hour. So, you know what that 1 hour does? It makes you want more. And right now, can any of you honestly say, after you watch the Raw, maybe other than NXT, other than the Raw and the TNA and the SmackDown and the pay-per-view, after the end of it, do you really want to watch more wrestling after that? Maybe some of you may want to, but the majority of people probably no. What Lucha Underground does is it makes you want more. It ends with that 1 hour is perfect for them right now. It makes you want more. Like, wow, that was really fucking good. I want to watch more. Fuck, is there another episode? And not to mention, I consider myself a wrestling guy. Okay? I love the in-ring work of wrestling. Those of you who watch my channel know that. But at the same time, I also consider myself an entertainment guy too. So I want to be entertained. I want to be entertained with storylines, and I want good storylines. I want to be entertained. I see that aspect of the business too, and that's what Lucha Underground does. It gives you both arenas really good. They give you kind of like it has like this telenovela type of feel, like you're watching a Spanish soap opera. So you get that aspect of it, which is really fucking entertaining. And then you get, the great in-ring wrestling. I mean, NXT is good. I love NXT. I'm a big fan of NXT, but you get the great in-ring work. Here, what I like about this is you get that telenovela. You get like a main storylines. You get all this great stuff along with it, and you want more. You're thirsty for more. And not to mention the announce team. I've talked about this in my Lucha Underground review, and I will be doing a Lucha Underground review, not tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm very busy tomorrow, but on Friday I'm planning on doing a Lucha Underground review on Friday, and I will go about that. But another thing that I like is I love the announcers from Vampiro and Matt Striker. Matt Striker, I've said it before, is the very best play-by-play guy going today. I'm not talking about all time in the past. I'm not comparing the JR, which I did think he was the main announcer in that gig with JR, even though he wasn't supposed to be. Definitely think that Matt Striker is the number one play-by-play guy in wrestling today. I'm just drinking water, guys. But I get thirsty talking, man. But anyways, that's what I think of the Lucha Underground. And then I'll tell you one other thing too. Oh my god, I love how they use the women in NXT. They're really strong. You don't be surprised, guys, if you've never seen Lucha Underground, you may see women against men in matches. I think I've seen it a few times since I've been watching Lucha. I think tonight is like the 16th or 17th episode of Lucha Underground, and I really like how they book the women. They're not booked as divas. They're really strong, empowered women. Nobody's fighting for a spot. The way they use them are really great. They use them in good storylines. They use them up against the men, and one of the storylines I really like and I feel really invested in and all that, and some of you may know the results because they tape shows all the way for another few months, and the one storyline I really like is I love this Son of Havoc and Evilise, his girlfriend storyline, with him always losing, and then last week she just had a match against, I forgot the one guy's name. I'm really horrible with Spanish names. I don't speak Spanish very good, so I just will botch up on some of these names in my reviews when I do the review tomorrow. So please don't hound me on that. I will try my best to pronounce them right, but man, I do not speak Spanish or pronounce Spanish names right at all. And you want to know the funny, ironic thing about it is my last name is Spanish. It's Cuellar. It's a Spanish-French last name, and yeah, I'm actually Spanish from my mom's side of the family. Hispanic, but I don't speak a lick of it. I'm freaking white. Everyone thinks I'm white. My father is white. He's like German. My father German and Swedish. So yeah, that's one thing there too. But you know, going on from Lucha Underground, like I said, I'm a wrestling guy and I'm also an entertainment guy. Can you imagine? And here's the funny thing. You think about all the wrestling promoters that there's been, you know, not promoters, but minds of the business and writers, and in that, you know, in that creative role, you know, and you have, you had the Pritchard guys, the Pritchard boys, Tom Pritchard and all that stuff. You have, you know, Vince, you know, you have Eric Bischoff, you have Jim Cornette, you have Vince Russo, you have Paul Heyman, you have all these guys, you know, the list goes on and on and on. Now, I know these guys, especially two of these guys, actually I think all three really, but especially two of them really hate each other, and can you imagine if they could come together again and work together? And the two names I'm talking about is Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette, he gets the wrestling business. He gets the in-ring wrestling, and he gets the in-ring storytelling of wrestling. Telling a story inside the ring. He gets that, but that's where he stops. He doesn't get some of the main storylines and entertainment. He doesn't get the entertainment aspect of it. Okay? He doesn't get that, but he gets the in-ring performance of it. If he did, and they hate each other, is if Vince Russo and a Paul Heyman can come together, and those three guys could work together and present plans to Vince, and then those are the only three story writers you would need, is just those three men pitching the ideas, and just, you know, I know they would all collide, is having Jim Cornette just work on the wrestling, working on the in-ring storytelling and things he wants to do, and don't have him deal with Jim Cornette. Have Vince McMahon give him the ideas, or whoever's the main guy in charge, and then have Vince Russo work on the storyline writing and where he wants to go, and give that to Vince, and then Vince will tell everyone what to do, and then have Paul Heyman. I don't know, something like that. I just wish that those guys could all be one, and we could have one promoter. Now me, I don't want to toot my own horn. I am that. I said that before, but I'm a nobody just shooting videos. I get the entertainment aspect of it, and it's very important. Perfect example is me and my wife. I love the in-ring wrestling. My wife, she watches wrestling too. She loves WWE. But is she paying attention when the match is going on and they're wrestling? No, she's doing her nails. She's doing her Farmville. She's doing all different types of shit. She doesn't care. She watches it to be entertained and watch the entertainment aspect of it. Well, there you go. You know, you need the person to understand both. Okay? And, if you have someone that understands both, I think we have a better product. Let me see. I have a text message here. Bizarre. Okay, it was my wife while I'm doing a video, honey. So, anyways, moving on from that. Oh, what else do I have on my list here? Let's see. Anyways, I hope you guys are enjoying this show of mine, my first show of Let's Talk Wrestling #1. And here's the thing I want to talk about right now. We're gonna jump into the hot tub time machine right now, and I'm gonna take you back. I'm gonna take you back in time to the year 2000. April 2000 to be correct. And that was a very busy month in the pay-per-view market. For instance, the first week of April, what do you have? You had WrestleMania 2000. Okay, moving on from WrestleMania 2000, what else did you have sandwiched? And oh my goodness, there is my son. Those of you who've seen my videos before may have seen my son in a video. So bear with me in my last 15 minutes of this video. I'm going to be having my baby boy with me. But what was sandwiched in the middle of 2000? We had Spring Stampede. Spring Stampede 2000 was sandwiched in the middle of that month, and then at the end of Spring Stampede, you had Backlash 2000. Backlash 2000 being the main event WWE Championship match between Triple H and The Rock. That's what you had sandwiched in WrestleMania and Spring Stampede over here. And the reason why I'm bringing this up was last night. Hey, baby boy, you want to sit down? You want to color? You want to color? Oh, you want to see the camera? Okay, you want to say hi to everybody? Say hi. Say hi. Okay, so the reason why I brought that up was last night I wanted to watch WCW from the 2000s, the last year, because those of you who watch my channels know that I am a huge WCW fan. But during 2000, I was a preteen, and my grandfather canceled our cable, so I watched Raw and stuff through the friends who recorded it on VHS, but they had to choose between Raw and Nitro, and they chose Raw. So I missed a lot of nights. So I wanted to watch a pay-per-view. So I went on the WWE Network, cheap plug, $9.99, and I was looking at at each pay-per-view of 2000, looking on the matches. And what really stood out to me when I went to Spring Stampede 2000 was that all the titles were vacated and they were having a tournament. And this was during the Vince Russo, Eric Bischoff New Blood, at the beginning of the New Blood storyline. So I was very intrigued, so I put it on, and I will tell you something, guys. I was so entertained by this pay-per-view. I was very entertained, and here's the thing that want to talk shit about the WCW product in 2000, in the 2000 era when it went out of business. WCW was never great business-wise behind the scene, having someone that is evident. But if you watch that show of Spring Stampede, I challenge all of you who are WCW fans or curious about it or want to know how it went out of business, watch that and don't compare it to what was going on at the competition. I understand WWE was winning. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, they were going against the middle of the Attitude Era, and they were going through WrestleMania season. They were sandwiched in between in that month of April. They were sandwiched in between WrestleMania and Backlash. Right, son? Right? Right? Say right. Right. Okay. He was sandwiched in between those two events. Now, watch it and don't compare it to the Attitude Era. Just watch it, be entertained, and you won't get lost on storyline wise if you just watch this pay-per-view.
Hey!
Hi, how you doing? You won't get lost, but compare it to the product of Raw and compare it to Fastlane. Compare it to those 6 hours worth of garbage that I just watched the last 2 nights and tell me what is better. I mean, I see why WCW went out of business. Going up against that Attitude Era, of course. I mean, that was a rare point in this business when you're firing on Monday nights like that. You're only going to have one survivor, and of course, the Attitude Era was way better at that time. You're not getting no arguments from me on that. The Attitude Era was much better. However, You watched this Spring Stampede and the storylines was good. With the storylines, oh shit, my son's going up the stairs here. Right now, what I want you guys to do is look up at my comic book collection, my bookshelf, while I get my son. Okay, stay down here, okay?
Wait.
Okay.
Hey.
Whew, sorry about that, guys. Whew, that was the commercial break. That's why I do these videos when my son is napping. But today, he only decided to take a 45-minute nap today. Whew. I didn't even talk about half the things I wanted to talk about in this video. Let me catch my breath. Had to run all the way up the stairs. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the view of my action figures, some of my comic books, my Walking Dead toys fell down. Whew. You wear me out, boy. You know that? I know, Lady Death. That's right, from Thanos.
What?
Yeah, Thor. He calls him Gwen. My son knows all the comic book heroes. That's right, guys. Let me see.
A boy.
Anyways, compare that, the Spring Stampede 2000, to what's going on today in WWE, and you'll be widely entertained. And let me tell you, the tournament's always fun, and what you had on that Spring Stampede 2000 was you had the Billionaires Club versus the New Blood. And those of you who watched that era knows exactly what I'm talking about. It was very entertaining. It was a great storyline, and I challenge anybody who, you know, watched that back then and thought it was garbage. Watch it now. This is my point. Watch it now. The reason why I say watch it now is even though you may have watched it back then and you hated it, you know why you hated it? You hated it because the competition was showing a million times better. Now you watch it now with an open mind. You're going to be more entertained now than you are with the WWE. You're like, oh my God, this is shit that I'm watching on WWE. And that is the comparison. You're going to see just how bad, WWE has really became, guys. And that's my message I'm sending to you guys right now, is WWE is now worse than what the worst WCW was. And in my opinion, that pay-per-view was actually really good. I love that New Blood Rising storyline with the Millionaires Club. And the Millionaires Club was like Hogan, all the established guys against exactly what the name says, the New Blood. The New Blood of the business who Russo and a lot of guys back there was trying to push. And, you know, you had a power struggle and all this other thing. It was very compelling, more interesting. Right now, everything is more interesting than the trash that I'm watching every Monday night with the same crap with the Cena, who I'm okay with Cena. You like Cena? Yeah, Cena done. He likes saying the theme music. Anyways, man, shit, even my son's Mickey Mouse that he watches, the bloody Mickey Mouse Clubhouse and the bloody hot dog dance is more entertaining than the shit that I'm watching on Monday nights, guys. Right? Hot dog? You like the hot dog dance? Well, I like the hot dog dance too, son, more than the garbage that we're watching every Monday night on Raw. Do you like the wrestling?
Okay.
Are you entertained? Well, there you go. There's my first guess. My 2-year-old son will tell you that he's not entertained by the garbage that he's watching on Monday night. He wants to watch Lucha. You want to watch Lucha? Lucha. There you go. Good boy. Go have a cookie. Anyways, guys, sorry for the last 15 minutes. I wanted to go more in-depth. My son really threw me off. Usually he takes 2-hour naps, but today he only took a 45-minute nap. So, the struggles of being a parent. Anyways, guys, probably next week when I shoot this, I'm going to do this at bedtime when my wife is home, and she can make sure that I don't get interrupted and do the full hour interrupted. Sorry for the commercial break. At least you got to see some of my very cool Marvel Select toys. There's a couple DC toys I got up there, the Batman and Joker and all the other stuff. Feel free to leave your comments, suggestions on the channel, things you would like to see, things you would like for me to talk about on the next time, because we're going to talk about every mother effing thing on this Let's Talk Wrestling episode number 1. Next week, episode number 2, and that's what we're doing here on this show. Anyways, guys, another thing I want to do before I sign off is I want to say that I do from time to time, not all the time, I want to do some special shows with some guests, with some friends of mine's, a couple friends of mine's that you know who you are if you're watching this. I already talked to them. They'd be willing to come on this show, sitting side by side. I'll push the computer back. We could have a nice show, have them interview me on questions or whatever on wrestling, and just have kind of a guest. Maybe I'll have my esteemed wife on this show one day, because she's a wrestling fan herself, and she watches all the Raws and SmackDowns, TNAs and the Luchas and all that. I watch. She watches it with me. She bears with me, and she watches a lot of wrestling with me. I might have that too. And another thing that I'm working on, if you guys saw my video, I'm giving him a couple days and I'll be messaging him. But I was speaking about him in this video. Vince Russo has agreed to do my show via Skype. Hopefully I could get that set up in the next couple weeks. I know he's busy. So hopefully we could get that set up at some point whenever he's available, and I could squeeze in at least a 30-minute video, I'm hoping, out of it. No more than an hour, hopefully 30 minutes. I'll have questions, and that will be a big show. So please, this is a very new channel still. Please subscribe if you're not already. I do all the Raw reviews. I do topic reviews. And now once a week, you're going to be getting this 1-hour show, about 1 hour of me talking to you about whatever. And if you want me to throw some pop culture in there and me talk about some action figures and what's going on in the Hollywood and whatever else, the movies coming out, you know, and comic books that I wrote, whatever the fuck. Oh, excuse my language. But that is what I will be doing. So anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed my first episode of Let's Talk Wrestling. Until the next video, I hope all of you are good and catching this video is catching you in a good place. To the next video, I will see you mother effers later. Stay healthy, guys.